Boker Tov Chavrim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. Very serious situation developing in Syria. According to Strategic News, the first Operations Resistance Popular Forces pro-Syrian Arab Army has actually launched an attack against a U.S. force base there in Raqqa. This province, they call it Grad rockets. From the looks of it, it looks more like mortar shells being fired, not Grad rockets that were being fired at a U.S. base inside of Syria. Now, I actually saw this just moments after this was released by Strategic News, but I didn't report it before retiring to bed last night. I was waiting to see if I could get a confirmation on that, and we actually did from Amman News from Lebanon. Update: Russian military comments on Arab tribal uprising against the U.S.-backed forces in Raqqa offers new reason for the revolt. So this is the Russian general that is actually speaking on this. Says a Russian military official has commented on the uprising of the al-Bakhamis tribesmen against U.S.-backed forces in the Euphrates town of al-Munusura in Syria, Raqqa province earlier this week. According to the head of the Russian General Staff Main Operations Directorate, Colonel General Sergei Rodskoy, the revolt at al-Munsra was due to disillusion stemming from forced recruitment of the al-Bakhamis tribesmen by U.S.-backed militias. Acts of repression and extortion by U.S.-backed forces against the town's local Arab populace also played a key role in inciting the civil uprising that was witnessed, the Russian general added. Very troubling situation that is going on there. And not only is it troubling for the U.S. to be struck by this little band of, well, and I guess it would be considered like guerrilla fighters inside of Syria there, trying to force U.S. troops out of Syria. But we also know that President Trump just recently said, telling aides he wants U.S. troops out of Syria. He actually said it publicly, that the U.S. forces will be leaving Syria very, very soon. Now, the U.S. military is not going to leave because of a local tribes group in Syria. But the point is I think that Trump wants out of Syria because the growing escalation, the tensions between Turkey and the U.S. And Turkey threatens U.S. forces in Syria. This is on March 29th, just a couple of days ago, on Brain Trust site here. Says Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has exploited his country's prejudice against the Kurdish people as a pretext to invade Syria. He has recruited a 20,000-member mercenary army and is 60 miles away from direct confrontation with U.S. military and allied forces, speaking about for the French government as well. Now, that distance has certainly changed already. There is a young lady there in Syria that actually was on the front lines, and literally those forces loyal to Turkey and the forces, U.S. forces there, are only within eyesight of one another. The U.S. has been digging in, preparing for an attack by the Turkish forces there. Very troubling situation. And with Turkey being a NATO ally, this really brings it into a very precarious situation for U.S. forces in the region there. Also, we have this tweet coming out as well. It says another ammunition dump, U.S. supporting YPG PKK found by Turkish armed forces, Samatek village near Afrin town there. Well, can't blame the U.S. for backing the Kurds there, but there again, it's all small arms fire. It's nothing significant. The Kurds don't have a whole heck of a lot of anything, but just because the Turkish government considers the Kurds to be terrorists, therefore they think the U.S. should also view them as terrorists. But it's just not going that way. My question is, though, is Trump going to withdraw from Syria in the wake of a NATO partner claiming that the Kurds are actually terrorists? How will that end up going? I mean, that's really just a slap in the face for the Kurds to see the U.S. would actually bail out when Turkey is ready to genocide the entire population. Very troubling indeed, the situation that's going on there, but not as troubling as what we're seeing from Russia. Right now, we know that President Putin recently said, listen to us now, as he showed the video, animated video of some of the technology that Russia has. And of course, it was played down by U.S. forces were playing down the video that Russia really doesn't have any capabilities that really amount to anything. Well, Russia just recently showed this video only a few hours ago, showing their technology with yet again another type of anti-aircraft missile defense system, not specifically meaning against airplanes, so to speak, but another huge rocket similar to that of the Satan II that was being used. And this thing here is incredibly fast. You know, and you talk about supersonic, Russia's not kidding when they say that their missile systems are supersonic. As this thing was test fired, it made the camera not even be able to keep up with it. It was unbelievable, the speed of this particular rocket here. They show several different times where the rocket goes out. Now, whether or not the film footage is sped up or not, I can't say myself, but nonetheless, even when the camera was trying to follow this rocket coming out, the camera could not keep up with the rocket. We had that. Of course, we know that Russia just retested the Satan II just the other day. Yet again, another troubling situation as we see these things unfold. And then we have near Leningrad, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation on their Facebook page, combat calculations of the Bakhmut 2 air defense system in the Leningrad region successfully repelled the massive missile and aircraft strike on the conventional enemy. That shows that Russia's getting ready for a war, not just a possibility between the U.S. and Turkey and Syria, but also with a war with the U.S. on the Ukrainian border. Very troubling as the Bakhmut is actually brought in, shows that Russia is anticipating the war in eastern Ukraine to turn from just a ground operation to a full-fledged air attack. We have been following for a couple of weeks now, too, how the U.S. reconnaissance spy drones have been flying overhead, especially around Donetsk and Luhansk regions and even around Crimea. They are constantly circling back and forth to gather intelligence, so it only seems to be that they are planning to try to take the rest of Ukraine to see how Russia will react. Also, one other bit of news here, thanks to Sister or Dr. Rosa there, Mattis to Bolton, I heard that you're actually the devil incarnate. This could actually be heard as CNN recorded the video there about this here as the two walked up the steps. Let me just kind of get this ready here for you. And General Mattis actually jokingly laughs and says, I hear you're the devil incarnate. Listen to this little clip right here.
And as soon as finally meet you, I heard that you're actually devil incarnate.
I heard that you're actually the devil incarnate, and I wanted to meet you. Well, these two don't see eye to eye on many issues, where General Mattis looks at diplomacy regarding the issues with North Korea and also with Iran. And of course, Bolton, as he was I believe a Fox contributor on Fox News there, very much was against the Iran deal and also called on war with North Korea. So, what is it going to be? Very troubling indeed as we watch these things unfold. I'm Stephen Benoon. You're watching Israeli News Live.